Let's move to Paris 2024 now. And the Paralympic Games closing ceremony took place last night, signaling the end of the Games at Paris 2024. Our Team South Africa ended the Summer Games with a total of 12 medals, having secured 6 medals at the Olympic Games and 6 in the recently concluded Paralympics. The focus will now shift to LA 2028, with the American city of Los Angeles set to host the next edition of the Games. Karien Jonckheere joins us now via Zoom to wrap up the proceedings at Paris 2024. Karien, thank you so much for joining us. Of course, it is the end of the Games. One last time as we look back on what we've seen in Paris 2024, and suppose a good place for us to start would be your reflections of the closing ceremony last night, where everything culminated in the end for Paris 2024.
Morning, Andee. Yes, it was a great ceremony last night. Unfortunately, the rain poured down throughout the ceremony, just like it did in that opening of the Olympic opening ceremony so many weeks ago. So we've kind of come full circle, but a real party atmosphere, which a closing ceremony always is. And I think Paris have done a really great job on the Olympics and Paralympics. The crowds have been phenomenal, and it's really just been a festive few weeks. I think Parisians are really sad it's all over. Well, the majority of them. When the IPC president declared the Games closed, there was a big groan around the stadium. But yeah, just a real celebration last night at the Stade de France.
And suppose one would then conclude that the rain did not put a dampener on proceedings. If you're looking purely at the numbers, another record tumbling where the tickets sold 12 million tickets for the Olympic and Paralympics, and this is beating the previous record set by London 2012, according to the organisers.
Yes, we were a little concerned in the beginning. The crowds didn't look quite as big as they did for the Olympics, but the French crowds really did come out in their numbers. And it wasn't just the numbers, it was the volume of the crowds as well, really impressive. And I think every athlete I spoke to on Team South Africa mentioned the support here has just been phenomenal, and that really boosted them in their performances.
And you're talking about conversations with Team South Africa, and that's where I want to move to next in terms of the performances. Is the general sentiment that the medals that we were able to get, 12 in total, 6 each for the Olympics and Paralympics, is exactly where we should be as Team South Africa? Or did you get a sense of perhaps a bit of disappointment from the athletes? What is the sentiment around our medal tally?
It's a bit of a tricky one. When you talk to team management, they say they're very happy with the total. Obviously, 2 gold medals was a great accomplishment from Mpumelelo Mhlongo and Simone Kruger. But if you do look back at previous Paralympics, we did finish much higher up the medal table. South Africa's in 46th place and 7th in Africa, which is compared to 34th in Tokyo, 22nd the time before that. When you look back at Beijing in 2008, I think we finished 6th on the medal table with 21 gold medals. So it's definitely a lot less than in the past, but it was a smaller team, 32 this time compared to 61 in Beijing, for example. So the athletes themselves were pleased. A few obviously disappointed that they didn't make the medal table, but yeah, generally the team seemed to be happy.
And if one is looking back then at Paris 2024, what do you think these games are going to be known for? Perhaps there's standout, achievements for each games and highlights that people would draw. What do you think would be the highlight, perhaps, for Paris 2024?
Oh, that's such a tricky one. There've been so many just for South Africa, for, internationally. I think we will remember these French crowds, though. They have been phenomenal. And just the party atmosphere. It's been a really kind of happy Games, both the Olympics and Paralympics. The atmosphere has been incredible, but so many individual highlights as well.
Perhaps a bit of a sad note then that we want to reflect on Rebecca Cheptegei. Of course, the news of her passing coming through, and we do know that she participated in the Paris Olympics a bit earlier on. What was the sentiment and thoughts around Paris when the news broke, and perhaps how they're hoping to honor Rebecca going forward?
Yes, obviously huge shock on that news about Rebecca's passing. Athletes absolutely devastated. She was here only a few weeks ago participating in the marathon. At the Paralympic marathon yesterday at the same venue at Andee in the city centre, they paid tribute to Rebecca after the end of those races. They had a video tribute on the big screens there, and then a minute's applause from the crowd. I think everyone just still in shock at that tragic story of domestic violence. And then the Paris mayor has actually said that they're going to be naming a sports venue in the city after Rebecca in her honor. So that's something special.